From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aylia Batool. Our top story for today, U.S. President Joe Biden signed 50 bills into law on Christmas Eve, addressing a wide array of critical issues. Among the landmark measures is the Stop Institutional Child Abuse Act, which is championed by Paris Hilton, establishing a federal oversight group for the safety and care of minors in youth residential programs. A bipartisan ethics reform now prevents convicted members of Congress from collecting pensions, closing a loophole that previously allowed benefits during appeals. The change follows the conviction of Senator Bob Menendez for corruption. The Stop Campus Hazing Act mandates colleges to report hazing incidents and educate students on its dangers, aimed at enhancing campus safety. Additionally, the bald eagle has been officially recognized as America's national bird, solidifying its symbolic status. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has vowed to reinstate federal executions. He criticized President Joe Biden's decision to commute the death sentence of 37 federal inmates. Trump made the pledge on his social media platform Truth Social, saying he will direct the Justice Department to pursue the death penalty to protect American families and children. Earlier this week, Biden commuted the sentences of 37 out of 40 federal death row inmates to life imprisonment without parole. The commutations have sparked a national debate about the death penalty's morality and the balance between justice for victims' families and the ethics of state-sanctioned executions. President-elect Donald Trump has vowed to restore Alaska's Mount Denali to its former name, Mount McKinley, honoring 19th century President William McKinley. Addressing a crowd in Phoenix, Trump criticized the 2015 decision by the Obama administration to revert to the mountain's indigenous name, Denali. Trump called the renaming unfair to McKinley's legacy. He praised McKinley as a successful businessman and a very good, maybe great president whose economic policies paved the way for his successor, Theodore Roosevelt. The announcement sparked criticism, including from Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski, a fellow Republican. She wrote on social media, "Denali, the Great One, is the only name fitting for North America's tallest mountain. The mountain, renamed Denali in recognition of indigenous heritage, remains a point of pride and contention in Alaska." Eric Trump, son of U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, sparked uproar with a social media post showing an altered image of his father seemingly buying Canada on Amazon. The image, captioned, "We are so back," also referenced Greenland and the Panama Canal, echoing Trump's past remarks about integrating these regions into the U.S. Tensions between the U.S. and Canada have been mounting since Trump's election. Trump called Canada the 51st state and is threatening 25% tariff on Canadian goods. In response, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government unveiled a $1.3 billion plan to bolster border security and curb illegal drug flows. Trump's frequent jabs at Trudeau, calling him the Governor of Canada on Truth Social, add fuel to the strained relationship. Residents of Oregon's Lincoln County received racist letters urging them to track and report people of color. Titled The Brown Roundup Part 1, the letters falsely claimed a U.S. Department of Homeland Security initiative to create a hotline for this purpose. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office condemned the letters, calling them harmful and divisive. He reaffirmed Oregon's sanctuary state policies, which prohibit local law enforcement from collaborating with immigration authorities. Community leaders, mayors, state officials, and Representative David Gomberg denounced the letters as hateful and contrary to Oregon's values of respect and inclusion. Oregon Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum vowed to oppose such intimidation tactics, emphasizing the state's commitment to compassion and unity. The FBI is investigating, urging anyone feeling threatened to report concerns. U.S. diplomat breaks silence on resignation over Gaza war. Details come after the break. Stay tuned and we will be right back. Welcome back. Former U.S. State Department official Mike Casey publicly expressed his despair and frustration over the Biden administration's handling of the Gaza war months after his resignation in July. In a recent interview, Casey revealed the disillusionment that led to his departure as deputy political counselor for Gaza. He criticized the administration's inaction despite mounting casualties and worsening humanitarian conditions. "I got tired of writing about dead kids," he said, describing the futility of daily reports that were routinely dismissed in Washington. Casey's remarks highlight systemic failures within U.S. diplomacy and its unwavering alignment with Israeli policies, often at the expense of Palestinian lives. His resignation reflects growing frustrations among officials, with others like Josh Paul citing similar concerns. Casey's revelation exposed the moral and policy failures shaping U.S. involvement in the region. Despite his extensive experience and attempts to influence policy, Casey found little to no support for his efforts within the State Department. Casey detailed how his recommendations, which include urgent humanitarian and security strategies for Gaza, routinely were dismissed. Other officials within the U.S. foreign policy apparatus also have expressed similar frustrations. Israeli airstrikes have killed 38 Palestinians and injured 137 in Gaza in the past 24 hours, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry. Freezing temperatures also caused the deaths of 3 Palestinian infants in Gaza due to inadequate shelter. A 3-week-old baby girl succumbed to the cold in Khan Yunis, with health officials citing inadequate shelter as the cause. An Israeli strike on Gaza City's Zaytun neighborhood killed 5 people and injured 15, including children. Victims were rushed to Al Ahli Baptist Hospital. 2 ambulance workers died in another airstrike near Kamal Adwan Hospital, while 5 journalists from Al-Quds Al-Yum TV were killed near Al-Oda Hospital. Despite the risks, crowd gathered to mourn them, highlighting the growing peril faced by media professionals during Israel's 14-month war on Gaza. Efforts for a ceasefire remain stalled, with Hamas accusing Israel of setting new conditions. In Lebanon, Israeli forces breached a ceasefire, advancing into Wadi al-Hujr and firing machine guns. The Lebanese army closed roads to the area in response. Israel's war on Gaza has killed at least 45,399 Palestinians and wounded 107,940 since October 7, 2023. Israel faces a genocide case at the International Court of Justice for its war on Gaza. Last month, the International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant for war crimes and crimes against humanity. 4 Palestinians were killed by Israeli army fire in the West Bank city of Tulkarem, raising the death toll from the ongoing military operation in the area to 8, the health ministry said early Wednesday. A ministry statement said 7 more people were injured, including 2 seriously in the offensive. The Israeli army began a large-scale military operation in Tulkarem late Monday, triggering clashes with angry Palestinian residents, according to witnesses. An Israeli military statement said an army commander was injured in a roadside bomb explosion in the city on Wednesday. The army said the commander suffered moderate injuries after his vehicle hit an explosive device in the area. The Israeli military attacked a group of civilians protesting its occupation in Quneitra province, Syria. Residents of Suwaisa, a village in the southwestern province of Quneitra, organized a demonstration against Israel's territorial occupation. At least 3 people were reportedly injured in the Israeli army's attack on demonstrators. After the collapse of the Ba'ath regime, Israel intensified its airstrikes in Syria, pushing beyond the Golan Heights and seizing territories along the Lebanon-Syria line. Quneitra was occupied by Israel following a surge in airstrikes after the fall of the regime. Israel also declared the collapse of a 1974 disengagement agreement with Syria and deployed its forces within the demilitarized zone in the Golan Heights, a territory Israel has occupied since 1967. According to the UN Disengagement Observer Force, the buffer zone extended over 75 kilometers in length and ranges in width from approximately 10 kilometers in the center to 200 meters in the far south. Efforts are underway to rehabilitate hundreds of Rohingya families left homeless after a massive fire devastated Cox's Bazar's Kutupalong camp in Bangladesh. The blaze killed 2 people, including a minor, and destroyed more than 600 makeshift homes. Another 114 homes were demolished to prevent further spread, officials reported. The camp's congested bamboo structures fueled the fire's rapid spread, leaving many vulnerable amid harsh winter weather. Refugees like Noor Hakim shared their plight, highlighting conditions worsened by the cold. Authorities, supported by the UN and donor agencies, have launched repair and humanitarian initiatives to relocate affected families. Meanwhile, UN General Assembly President Philemon Yang discussed the broader Rohingya crisis with Bangladesh's UN envoy Mohammad Abdul Muhith. They discussed ongoing challenges and recent UN resolutions addressing the community's plight. Bangladesh hosts more than 1.2 million Rohingya refugees, mostly fleeing persecution in Myanmar since 2017. Afghanistan's interim Taliban administration says at least 46 people were killed in a bombing by Pakistani fighter jets in the eastern Paktika province. Mullah Hamdullah Fitrat, deputy spokesman for the interim administration, said Pakistani jets bombed 4 locations in Paktika's Barmal district. According to Kabul, this is Pakistan's second airstrike inside Afghanistan after the first in March. Islamabad has yet to respond to the claims made by Kabul. Media reports quoting unnamed Pakistani security officials said the fighter jets targeted camps of the banned militant group Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. Islamabad has long accused Kabul of failing to crack down on TTP militants who reportedly have been operating from Afghanistan. The TTP has carried out deadly attacks on Pakistani security forces, mainly in border regions, in recent months. Libyan authorities have deported 400 irregular migrants to Niger by land, marking the first such operation in 12 years. The deportation conducted Wednesday is part of intensified efforts to curb illegal immigration. Lieutenant Colonel Mohammad Buridia, deputy head of security at the Anti-Illegal Migration Unit, said the agency ramped up operations targeting those without valid residence permits. Libyan officials previously have emphasized irregular migration poses a national security problem. Libya remains a critical transit hub for migrants aiming to cross the Mediterranean into Europe, often risking perilous journeys. Iran has lifted access restrictions on WhatsApp and Google Play, marking a significant step in easing internet controls. The decision was made during a meeting by Iran's Supreme Council of Cyberspace. It was attended by top officials, cabinet ministers, and council members, according to state news agency IRNA. The session emphasized the importance of regulating governance in cyberspace while supporting domestic platforms. Information Minister Sattar Hashmi hailed the decision, thanking President Masoud Pezeshkian, media, and activists for their efforts. Hashmi noted this was the first step towards greater internet freedom. The move fulfills a campaign promised by President Masoud Pezeshkian to expand platforms to online platforms for Iranian citizens. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum.